Thanks, Laura. Probably a better way to do this where it's evenly spaced out, but it's still a little bit of an amateur when it comes to subs and painter. Just not sure if I like that banding thing happening there. I might come back to that. We'll see. I like the colors. Just don't know if I like the how different it is from this area. I kind of like this area, and this is quite a bit different. So not sure what I want to do there. I'll probably come back to that at some point. Do the music. See, I think I like it better minimal without the red. I try to work the red in other places. Not too worried about this stuff back here because it's not really going to be seen. This is purely art here, so it's going to be rendered at a front angle. I have no intentions of ever rendering it at behind or anything like that. So that looks that looks a little nicer. Just like the gold bands and not the red. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Could try doing maybe a red stripe every few. The bronze, I should just remove the mask. Oh no, because then I want to remove the mask, then I'll mess up what I already have, right? Maybe not. Let's try it. Clear mask. Clear mask. Whoa. I was inverting the mask. Clear mask. And invert. That actually kind of looks pretty cool. With the hands glowing or being bronze like that, I kind of dig that, to be honest. And then maybe I can do like little patterns of red, and I don't know, we'll see. Maybe little rings around the fingers. But I do kind of dig the bronze hands and feet. I'm gonna leave it for now. I do plan on making this a little bit more dirty looking. This is the best term I can use. But I'll focus on that later. I just kind of want to get all the masks done, get it looking nice and clean. And then I'll grunge it up. I'll use some smart masks, some dirt. It may end up like sometimes what I'll do is like bake out my normal map and bring it back in as a bake out my normal map and bring it back in and plug it back in here. And that way when I use smart masks, I'll get like some grunge in like the creases and crevices of the new normal map, because currently if I use a smart map, it's only going to be looking at these normal maps. But if I bring in a new normal map and rebake all of my existing utility maps or mesh maps, then it will react to the new normal map a lot better. You just have to be careful because sometimes it will mess with your existing shaders. But we'll see. We may try it. We may not. Yeah, I'm kind of digging the golden hands and feet. I think I kind of like that. The only thing I don't like about it is that I really like the contrast here with the really dark material going into the really light material. So you kind of lose that. So maybe I can make it like a lighter bronze yellow. Where's my color attributes? Is it not giving me any color? No color. Maybe I just don't know the right place to find it. I think this fill would give me something to change the color. But I don't see anything. All right, let's try. Instead of bronze, let's try brass. See, that gives us some color. I'm dropping some frames with my stream, so I just want to make sure that maybe I should close some applications here. It looks good now. The quality is good. Must have just been a fluke. Oh well. So the brass is cool, but I like the bronze. So maybe we can shoot for somewhere between the bronze and the brass. And making it a little bit redder. A little bit more saturated. But I want it to stay pretty light. I might keep the bronze for the stripes and use the brass just for the hands and feet. I think I like that idea. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's make a mask. We will make a black mask. We'll add a paint. And I'm just going to paint the hands and feet. And they're so similar. If I do miss a little spot, it's probably not going to make a huge difference. Of course, I say that, but then you render it and you're like, oh fuck, that's a total eyesore. Like that little spot right there. I could totally see me rendering it at like an angle like that. That would just annoy the crap out of me. Best to fix those areas when you find them. Fix them when you find them. That's what I always say. Also, just take a look at if you know your way around your UV map, take a look at your UV map and make sure that you've got all the spots. I missed those spots right there on the feet. Spot on the hand. Where was it? It's that spot right there. That spot. Just gotta figure out what that is. It's probably the leather that's on top. So I'm guessing that's what that is. It's the leather. At least that one was. Still getting used to the hotkeys, obviously. In Painter. A little bit of leather there too. You use so many apps, it's really difficult jumping back and forth. How many times I try to use Z to zoom in like Maya, because that's zoom in Photoshop and Illustrator, and then I just yeah, I like that a little bit better. I like the bronze. Again, I may kill that. We'll see. Kind of looks cool like that too, without the leather. Wonder if I inverted those. No, we'll leave it the way it is for now. So the whole texturing thing will definitely take some time. It's probably something I'll spend a few streams on. I mean, we're 45 minutes into the stream and I, haven't done a ton. I'm pretty slow with my process. But I kind of like what I have so far. I may jump into either texturing. Nah, let's see. Maybe I will texture the loincloth before I do everything else. There's definitely like a few different major sort of elements that we have on this guy that I want to be in the same mindset. I want everything to match, but like the body armor definitely like has a significantly different aesthetic than the body itself. And then the loincloth, because it's going to be cloth, also has a very different aesthetic. So I kind of like to be focused on one thing at a time. It's hard to explain. It's also good to like jump back and forth between things to get a feel of everything. But I do like where this is so far. I'm not sure if I'll keep the bronze hand and feet, but at the moment, I think it's really cool. Let's jump over to our mask, our body armor, and give it a material. Just out of curiosity, see what it looks like with a metallic. I mean, that actually looks pretty cool. The scale is obviously way off. I mean, that does look pretty neat. Let's just try the same bronze that we have on the stripes. See, when something is just really reflective and it doesn't have any texture to it, I mean, this does have the texture from the bronze on it. We hide the bronze, we lose the texture. But something about that bronze just pops. I like it. I'm not saying I'll keep it by any means. It's worth just leaving it as an experiment for now. So there's other things we could try. Chrome plated rust. Interesting, but not sure if I like that. Do Imperator Marble Dark. Sound of it doesn't mean it's going to look cool though. Oil asphalt. Something I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about for sure. So like that just looks too pity. Not pity, but like scale's too big. But I kind of do like the iridescence. Oh, I hate when that happens. Actually, that's probably a good place for it for the sake of the stream. wood. There's some interesting woods. I kind of, the concept art is a very light color, so I would kind of like to stick to that light color. But I'm not married to it. A lot of this is really just going to be experimentation, finding something that kind of jives with the rest of the look. Pounded asphalt. Hey Carl, what's up, man? Yeah, I like playing music. I get a lot of complaints about like, can you add music to your lectures because they're really boring when they're silent. And I've actually found that if I speed up a time lapse and I just leave my mouse clicks in it, it gives it like a little bit of a dynamic feedback. I don't know. It's interesting. It's not quite music, but it kind of makes it not such a boring video to watch if it does have some sort of audio feedback. Looks interesting. It's kind of like coral, I guess. It's still, I want it to have like significant contrast against the body, and the body's like very dark. So from a distance, like there's not a significant contrast between like the body armor and the body itself. So that's kind of why I'm shooting for either a really dark color or something that just like pops like that orange just really pops out. I may jump on Substance Source later tonight and download some new materials. Check them out. I could always just add a material too, and if it gives me the option, change the color. I know it looks really cool. It's not what I originally had planned, but it definitely like just pops like this is some like godlike being, like made out of pure gold. Yeah, and if I went with that color, I would definitely need to do some sort of orange for the loincloth too, just to like have it balanced out throughout. So good. I mean, that looks cool too. It's just not really going with my existing color theme. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be very hard to change everything else to be like purplish and bluish. It's definitely a cool effect. It would be neat if I could change those colors. Rock. Huh, maybe I can. Change the hue of these. It's fun just tweaking things to see what kind of results you get. Glow. Yeah, see, I think that's too noisy. You can't really see the shapes very well because you have so much noise. It's too busy. It's cool though. It's something to keep in mind. That does give off a cool effect. Rotten wood. That's interesting. We can make it lighter. Definitely an interesting effect. The cool thing about Substance Painter is it truly is like Photoshop, so I could do combinations between the two. So we could turn on both of those layers, and I could do like maybe a overlay or screen, one into the other, multiply. Get them working together. That just looks so badass the way it is. Let's see. Let's tweak this a little bit. Maybe a little bit more roughness. So that way it's a little bit more matte. And I wonder if we can bump down. Texture a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, perspective's important though. Like, it's just a shame that like, well, you know, I was taught it at a very early age too, and it's just one of those easy things to teach because you're drawing lines. And you can get fairly good results from it. You have your students just draw lines and make these environments. So yeah, it's definitely one of these easy things to teach and get like a cool picture from your students, cool results. But I never got it. It never really made sense to me until I was much, much older, and I understood perspective. And it may not be because I didn't get it back then. I may have got it back then, but somewhere in between, I forgot it. I'd lost what that meant. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's one of those things you're taught. I feel like you're taught once and like you're never taught again. And like from that point on, it's just like, oh, it's just regular, 2-point, 3-point perspective. And people just assume you remember. It seems like a very easy concept, but yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like being taught. I just recently watched something about Harvard graduates, graduates being interviewed and asked if they can explain the seasons. And like 90% of them said it was because the Earth physically moved closer to the sun. These are Harvard graduates. So they didn't understand the whole tilt of the Earth. So it's like they were taught this at in grade school, but there's so much time that passes, 20 years, and you're expected to remember it, and you just don't. It's not that easy to retain that information over such a long period of time, especially when you're still in development. You're learning something when you're developing your brain. It doesn't always stick. So a lot of those concepts need to be constantly reinforced. Otherwise, you kind of lose grasp of them. I don't know if any of that makes sense. I'm just kind of spouting out ideas at the moment. See, the one thing I do want with this is I plan on my concept art here. I have these sort of dark areas and light areas here. I plan on making some glow happening from the interior of the mask, and I'm worried that making this guy too shiny, especially the body armor, will affect that. So as cool as this looks, I don't think it's going to work for what I want. We'll keep it as an option. Maybe I'll do a couple different variations of texture maps and see how it works. But for now, I think I'm at a good stopping point. We're at about an hour live stream. I'm going to go watch some Westworld. I got to get caught up for the new season. And maybe I'll be back on tomorrow night. We'll see. All right, yeah, thanks for watching, Carl. Have a good night. Be interesting to see what you're up to these days. I know you create a lot of physical art. I miss doing that stuff. It's just so messy and so expensive. But yeah, you should post some of your stuff, what you're working on, to Instagram. Haven't seen anything from you in a while. Good night, guys.